Hi, I'm James McGuire, and on today's eSpeaks, we're talking about a big shift in data analytics, where analytics is no longer confined to just the C-suite and upper management. Instead, it's accessible by a company's entire staff. It's the democratization of data, and it's a powerful trend with big implications. To discuss that, I'm joined by Suresh Vittal, Chief Product Officer at Alteryx. Suresh, very good to have you with us today.
It's great to be here with you, James.
And are you surviving at the end of this long week? We've got a big weekend. Are you ready for the 3 days off?
Can't wait.
I'm with you in that regard. So let's talk about this mega trend is driving analytics. It's the democratization of data. Pretty interesting. So it's making data accessible to the entire staff. Certainly, there's big competitive advantages in that, but also some possible problems. I mean, how is that progressing as you see it?
Yeah, the truth is, James, that most organizations are just not ready for this. The International Institute of International Analytics has developed a 5-stage model to help organizations baseline themselves and understand where they rank from an analytics maturity standpoint. And across thousands of companies that they've talked to and surveyed and worked with, most of them rank themselves pretty low on the analytics maturity scale. On a 5-point scale, the average score happens to be 2.2, which is really about localized analytics and reporting. Most companies will have a small expert team that executes analytics across a wide range of use cases and requirements. And as you can imagine, James, for a lot of these small expert teams, they are overwhelmed with requests. Because the knowledge workers inside the company lack the analytic skills or the tools and the capabilities beyond kind of basic spreadsheet manipulation. This also parallels itself when you think about US data workers. Most executives that have been polled see analytic skills as really a core enabler for businesses. And leadership teams that are focused on digital transformation are finding that the workforce is not properly equipped to extract insights from all this data. And as you know, data is overwhelming for organizations. So it's not uncommon that we hear from our clients where they describe themselves as being drowning in data, but starving for insights. So this poll I was referring to, it's a YouGov poll that looked at C-suite execs and got a sense of their current state in their organizations. 58%, so nearly 60%, said that they are driving business change through self-serve analytics, but only 12% of non-leadership workers are actually describing that they're achieving that self-serve analytics goal. So there's a big disparity between how leaders view this and how the teams are viewing this.
Mm-hmm. It is surprising to me. Well, actually, it's not surprising. The idea of it's 2.5 out of a score of 5. In other words, companies are definitely getting started. They understand that data is important, but they're not there yet at all. And that's a thing I've heard throughout the industry. But it seems odd in that we know how important data is, and yet companies are still struggling with it. Do you think it's because it's still new, or why do you think it's so hard for companies?
I think it's a combination, right? One is there's way too much data inside an organization. Think about every business is really a digital business today.
Right.
So you have data of your customers' digital footprints. You have data growing out of a multitude of SaaS applications. Mm-hmm. You have data sitting on premise in spreadsheets and databases. You have data in your cloud data warehouses. So firstly, the fragmentation challenge is massive. Mm-hmm. So therefore, the velocity and variety of digital data that's flowing at individuals is overwhelming. So that's one challenge. Mm-hmm. As a civilization, we haven't experienced this deluge of data as anything in the past, right? Mm-hmm. So we're all kind of setting new precedent in some ways. Mm-hmm. Secondly, the tools and the solutions that people have to apply this, their business knowledge against this data, extract insights, and then distribute those insights across a variety of functions, those tools are lacking, let's be honest, right? Most of these products have been built to solve specific problems inside an organization. They're not built to be integrated into an end-to-end platform. So we hear from our customers that accessing this data and then being able to solve for these problem sets across a platform is really hard for them. Third, and this is what we just talked about, I think the learning curve is steep for these employees, and they have the challenge of not being data literate in some cases, right? So you have to upskill your workforce to be more data literate, to appreciate analytics, and to understand how to drive the technical skills. You have to get the right tools, right capabilities, right solutions in front of them that work end to end in a platform. You have to make sure that they're trained and enabled on those tools. And you have to find ways to manage the fragmentation and disparity of data. So I think about these as three kind of very different problems, but really lead to organizations being ill-equipped to handle all this data and get insights out of it.
All right, so we've talked about the possibilities, some of the challenges. What can companies do if they want to democratize data? What steps are essential as you see it?
Yeah, that is the big question. As global demand for data analytics ramps up, it's really more important than ever before for companies to upskill their employees and build a culture of analytics. And frankly, James, this is easier said than done. Automating and leveraging kind of low-code tools becomes key to harnessing analytics. But most of the companies today, as I said previously, are working on legacy tools. They're using manual steps. They're in siloed environments, and they're using products with kind of really steep learning curves. This lack of automation really creates a challenge for them to be able to scale analytics across the enterprise. And it also creates a world where error creeps in and they make misguided decisions on this data. And so it's really important that companies invest in upskilling their knowledge workers and helping embrace analytics automation capabilities.
Interesting. Well, let's talk about your company in particular. How is Alteryx addressing the needs of its clients? What's the Alteryx Advantage?
Yeah, Alteryx has been the leader in analytics automation for the past 20 years. And our platform and the partnerships, the rich set of partnerships that we have, allows us to kind of really make analytics available for everyone. We have a community of users who love the products, 300,000 plus users using the products every day to create analytics, to do complex analytical tasks that were previously impossible for them to execute on. And we truly believe we're kind of making analytics for all. We make analytics easy. Every task can happen in a matter of minutes and doesn't need hours and weeks. Our platform really covers the entire analytics lifecycle. So we focus on everything that a user needs to do, from insight to action, to connecting to different data sources, to tracking data lineage, to helping them visualize the insights with our partners and so on. Our platform is available everywhere. Our platform is available on the desktop. Our platform is available in the cloud, whether it's their cloud or ours. And it's available integrated with a variety of players inside the ecosystem. And then ultimately, we differentiate ourselves by really making analytics available for everyone. All industries, all departments, we've got 8,000 plus customers across a wide-ranging set of industries: media, telecom, healthcare, financial services, the government. And it allows for everybody, regardless of their skill levels, to participate in the analytics journey. We aim to really meet people where they are on their own individual journey. If you're a data engineer who's used to writing complex automation pipelines, we're there to help you and to support you, and we have the right tools for you. If you're a business analyst who's used to working in Excel and understand pivot tables and writes macros, we have amazing set of tools to help you get better at your job and be more productive. And if you're a business user who really understands the domain and the industry very well, but isn't very comfortable writing code or working with data, we have the tool sets for them, things like Auto Insights that really provide an automated analyst at their fingertips. So we have a wide range of capabilities to help make products, make our products easy, available for everyone, serve every use case, be available in the cloud and on-premise, and really focus on every user depending on their level of skill sets.
All right, so well, let's look to the future. I think that the trend of the democratization of technology is a big trend that's playing out, across sectors. I mean, cloud certainly, machine learning. What about the future of data analytics democratization? What do you see there in terms of the years ahead?
Yeah, I think it's going to be increasingly important for organizations to embrace kind of no code and code friendly tools. And why is it important? Is because it allows everybody, a technical user and a non-technical person, to share work, to collaborate, and achieve breakthroughs. It's kind of what we call it. The outcomes they achieve are breakthroughs in their business. And I think democratizing analytics is kind of step one in that journey. To help our customers kind of go faster on the journey, we introduce the Alteryx Analytics Cloud. It's the first end-to-end unified analytics automation platform to enable users, as I said, regardless of their skill sets, across the analytics spectrum. And I think that's a big part of the future, is helping every single knowledge worker. If you're an HR professional, how do you identify employee churn and how do you recruit better? If you are a finance team member, how do you automate taxes? How do you drive regulatory compliance? If you're working in the supply chain, and we know supply chains are staggered right now with some of the macro factors that are happening, how do you right size your inventory? How do you optimize logistics? How do you modernize capacity planning? If you're a head of sales or marketing, how do you think about customer acquisition and retention? Every single role in the organization can use analytics and can be more productive with data and insights. And I think the journey, this next phase of the journey in democratizing analytics, is truly going to be putting the power in the hands of those knowledge workers, regardless of their role.
Interesting. It is going to be a fascinating sector to follow. Absolutely. Suresh, I think you said it. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise today.
Thank you for having me, James.